It is 2 in the morning. You should be asleep. Tomorrow is a significant day, perhaps the most important day of your month. You have a deadline looming, a conversation you have been dreading, or a decision that feels like it will shift the entire trajectory of your life. But instead of resting, you are on your hands and knees in the hallway, frantically organizing a drawer of old cables and dead batteries that you have not looked at in 3 years. Your back is aching, your eyes are burning from the lack of sleep, and yet you cannot bring yourself to walk away. There is a specific, sharp energy vibrating in your chest, a feeling that if you can just get this one drawer perfect, everything else will somehow be okay. You look at the pile of discarded junk on the floor and you feel a strange sense of shame. You ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Why am I doing this right now? You might call yourself a control freak. You might tell yourself you are just lazy and avoiding the real work. But those labels are wrong. You are not just cleaning. You are engaged in a subconscious rescue mission for your own sanity. When the world outside becomes too loud, too unpredictable, and too chaotic to manage, your brain looks for a sanctuary. It looks for a place where its actions have an immediate, visible, and undeniable impact. The messy drawer is not just a messy drawer. It is a physical manifestation of the overwhelm you feel inside. Every item you toss, every cable you zip tie, and every surface you wipe clean is a signal to your nervous system that you still have agency. You are not broken for needing this. You are not failing because your house is messy, and you are not crazy for needing it to be clean. You are an alchemist of space trying to turn the lead of your anxiety into the gold of mental clarity. This is the hidden language of your instinct, and today at Human Deciphered, we are going to translate it. We are going to look past the sponges and the storage bins to discover why your brain is so addicted to the art of letting go and why your need to organize is actually a powerful survival mechanism that is trying to save you. To understand why we do this, we must look at the 2 most common profiles of the decluttering mind. First, there is the aesthetic perfectionist. For this person, order is a visual symphony. Every time you see a clean counter or a color-coded bookshelf, your brain experiences a miniature explosion of dopamine. This is the neurotransmitter of reward. It is the same chemical released when you finish a workout or receive a compliment. In a world that often feels messy and unpolished, creating a perfect space gives you a sense of accomplishment that you can touch. But there is a trap here. Sometimes we become addicted to the image of order rather than the peace it is supposed to bring. We spend hours curating a life that looks good on the outside, hoping that if the bookshelf is perfect, the emptiness we feel inside will finally go away. This is the dopamine loop of the surface level, where we treat the symptoms of our unrest instead of the cause. Then there is the second type, the anxious controller. This has nothing to do with aesthetics, and everything to do with survival. Your brain is a supercomputer that never stops scanning your environment for threats. Scientists call this visual noise. Every pile of unopened mail, every dirty dish, and every tangled cord is processed by your amygdala as a tiny unfinished task. The amygdala is the ancient part of your brain responsible for the fight or flight response. When it sees clutter, it does not see objects. It sees a list of chores that you are failing to complete. Individually, these items are harmless, but collectively they create a heavy blanket of cortisol, the stress hormone that smothers your ability to think clearly. Studies from the University of California have shown that individuals living in cluttered homes have significantly higher levels of cortisol throughout the day. When your life feels out of control, perhaps because your relationship is failing or your career is stagnant, your brain enters a state of high alert. You cannot fix your boss, and you cannot force someone to handle their emotions better, but you can conquer the laundry. You can win the battle against the junk drawer. This is called compensatory control. By shrinking your world down to the size of a closet, you give your nervous system a chance to breathe. You are not being obsessive. You are performing an act of self-regulation. You are lowering the volume of a world that has become too loud to bear. Every item you remove is a weight lifted from your subconscious mind, allowing your prefrontal cortex to regain the energy it needs to solve the bigger problems in your life. But there is a third type of declutterer. One that operates on a level much deeper than stress management or dopamine chasing. We call this the identity evolver. To understand this person, we have to look at our possessions not as physical matter, but as anchors in time. Every object you own carries a story. Some stories are beautiful, but others are heavy burdens that keep us pinned to a version of ourselves that no longer exists. Have you ever held an old piece of clothing that you know you will never wear again, yet you feel a pang of guilt at the thought of letting it go? That guilt is not about the fabric. It is about the fear that if you lose the object, you lose the memory or the potential it represented. Perhaps it is the expensive camera from the year you thought you would become a professional photographer. Maybe it is the stack of notebooks from a college major you eventually abandoned. When we keep these things, we are often keeping a ghost in our closet. We are telling ourselves that we might still become that person, or that we are failing because we didn't. This is where the magic happens. When the identity evolver begins to clear their space, they are not just cleaning a room, they are performing a ritual of time travel. They are looking at these ghosts and saying, "Thank you for what you taught me, but I do not need to hold on to you to remember who I was." This is the ultimate superpower of the human mind. It is the ability to shed our old skin, to make room for the new. When you finally drop that bag of old clothes at the donation center, notice the sensation in your chest. It is a lightness that feels almost like flying. You have just freed up a massive amount of psychic energy that was being used to maintain a connection to the past. You are signaling to your subconscious that you are ready for the next chapter. You are not losing your history. You are making physical room for your future. This is not an act of destruction. It is an act of profound self-acceptance and bravery. You are choosing the person you are becoming over the person you used to be. You are proving that your identity is not found in what you own, but in the space you create for your soul to grow. Think of your brain as the most powerful operating system in existence, designed for high-level processing and deep emotional connection. But even the most advanced system can be slowed down by too many background tasks. Every piece of physical clutter in your environment is like a temporary file that your brain is constantly trying to load. Each time you walk past a pile of unwashed dishes or a stack of old magazines, your mind uses a small amount of energy to acknowledge it, judge it, and then decide to ignore it. Over time, these background processes accumulate, draining your mental battery and leaving you feeling sluggish and overwhelmed. Decluttering is not just about cleaning, it is about clearing the cache of your mind. It is a factory reset for your consciousness, allowing your mental energy to flow back toward the things that truly matter. If you feel overwhelmed by the mess, do not try to fix everything at once. Start with a single square foot of space. Clear one surface like your bedside table or your desk. Reclaim that small territory from the chaos and notice the shift in your breathing when you look at that clean area. This is your micro step. It is a physical proof that you have the power to change your environment. The state of your surroundings is not a judgment of your character. It is simply a snapshot of your current energy level. Be kind to yourself as you navigate this process. You are not a finished product. You are a living, breathing work of art. Thank you for deciphering the human experience with us today. At Human Deciphered, we know that understanding the hidden patterns of your behavior is the key to true freedom. You are not broken, and you are not your possessions. You are the space where your life happens. Keep making room for your growth,